the Knit Now, Swatch Later podcast. My name is Courtney and I'll be your host. You can find me on Ravelry as Pup. And let's get started. This is a knitting podcast primarily. I also talk about my sewing a little bit on here from time to time, but mainly it is knitting. So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is my finished object. I'll stand up so you can see it. This is the No Frills Sweater by PetiteKnit. I knit this in Hey Sister yarn, the colorway Blossom. Unfortunately, they are no longer dyeing yarn. And then I held this together with KnitPicks Aloft in the color Blush. And it's just a simple top-down raglan sweater. And I made it a little big because that's how I like them to fit me. I think this is the large size that I knit, and it fits me. It looks a little oversized, but that's how I like my sweaters to fit, so it fits me perfect. Then I will talk about, so another finished object that I've had sitting around for a while, it's mostly finished, but I just have to, let me just show it first. So this is the Soldotna Crop by Caitlin Hunter. And I am happy with it. I just want it to be a little longer. I'm not a crop person, and I tried to accommodate with a couple inches at the bottom, but I tried it on and it wasn't long enough. So I'm going to have to rip out my bind off here and add in a couple more inches and then bind that off. But I'm hoping, this has sat in my bedroom since the end of June. I still haven't finished it. I still haven't pulled it out and re-knit that. I'm not big on fixing mistakes, so hopefully, because I mentioned on the podcast, I will get some work done on that. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so next up, let me grab a blocker for this. So next up, I have a half object, which is one of my husband's socks. I'll hold it a little bit closer.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
This is the Premier yarn from Hobby Lobby. The colorway is Grapes. And I didn't really follow a pattern for this. I talked about it a little bit on my last episode, but I linked on my project page on Ravelry the Rose City Rollers pattern. It's kind of similar as far as the rolled cuff goes. And then I just did a vanilla sock, a rounded toe, and an afterthought heel. So if you wanted to follow a pattern, I think Rose City Rollers is probably the closest you're going to get to what I did here. And I cast on 64 stitches for my husband's socks, and I use a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle for that. And for this, I started it on a 9-inch circular needle, and then I switched over to a 40-inch needle for magic loop because it's just easier with the decreases in the toe. So one more to go. Alright, and then moving on to whips, all I really worked on in the last 2 weeks were the socks for my husband and my Stoker Shawl. So here is my progress on that. And you can see this little 0 marker from Simply Serving is marking where I was the last time I showed it on the podcast. So quite a bit of progress, but I did not finish an entire repeat because the rows are getting longer, or an entire section I mean, because the rows are getting longer. I think I'm up to like 300 something stitches by now, so it takes quite a while to make progress there. So that's pretty much it for works in progress for knitting. I have one whip for sewing that I don't think I had started the last time that I recorded. I recorded my podcast and I put it up, and then shortly after, Kristin from Vine uploaded one of her podcasts, and she had shown a Starburst quilt that she was working on, and I loved it. I thought it was so pretty, so I decided to make one of my own. So, I'm pretty much finished with the top. Try to show this the best I can. So here is the topper. And I love this pattern because it's not as much cutting as you would think. Looking at all the squares, I liked the cutting method that they used, which is what kind of inspired me to start it. Aside from Kristin's podcast, I watched her podcast and I was like, okay, Kristin, I'm really not a big quilter. I'm not a huge sewer. I don't like cutting a million pieces just to sew them back together, which is usually how quilts work. So I watched the tutorial that she linked to in her video, and I'll link to it down below. And there's not that much cutting involved. So I finished the top. I'm gonna add a 1-inch border around it in the dark blue fabric, and I bought the batting and the backing last night. So hopefully I will have a finished quilt sometime soon. Oh, we also got, I need to grab those. I got really into the whole idea of the quilting. So we went to Walmart and we got these cute little Christmas jelly rolls. My lighting's not great today, guys. It's snowing. It's the end of the day, so it's not the best, but I'm trying. But I got these little jelly rolls, and for that one I got this fabric to kind of coordinate with it, and I bought this jelly roll with snowflakes and polar bears on it. It's really, really cute. And these are the coordinating bits that I got to go with the snowflake one. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to have a bunch of Christmas quilts and we'll be nice and warm this winter. So that kind of slid into acquisitions a little bit. I got all the quilting stuff in the last couple of weeks. Both of these things I was very excited to get, so I'm trying to decide which one to show first. I have been wanting this for so long. I finally got a chance to order them, and it is the Chowgu Twist interchangeable needle set that I've had my eye on for quite some time. I got the complete set, so that has the small and the large sizes. And I love the case that it comes in. You can see I'm missing quite a few sizes already, but I'm really excited to have that. I love the Chowgu needles are my favorite because the cable has no memory, and I hate it when my cable gets all kinked up while I'm working, and it's very frustrating. And I'm not the most patient person, so if I'm getting frustrated with my needles, I'll stop working on it. And so I bought these to kind of hopefully counteract that a little bit. I don't know what is going on with my hair. Oh. Anyway, moving on. The other thing that I have been very excited about for quite a while is, I'm gonna scooch closer. I still have not figured out what the best angle lighting situation is, so just bear with me. So I have here the Yarnable Subscription Box from the Dyer is Hypnotic Yarn, and signups are closed right now, but you can sign up, enter your email address, and they will send you an email when the signups open back up. So if you're interested, you could do that. And then inside, they have on the lid, there is a description of everything in the box. And there's a little QR code that you can scan for more information. And I love, first of all, they sent me chocolate. And I like a box that sends me chocolate, you know? So, these are Dove and Hershey's Caramel Apple Chocolates. I will get to later. They also sent this adorable little Pearl the Sheep magnetic bookmark. It is so cute on the front and back that I have been wanting to use, but I kept it all packaged up to show you guys. There's also these little Handmade with Love labels that are just really pretty. I love putting labels in my homemade garments and whatnot, so that you can tell which size is the back, and it's just a little extra something to kind of finish it up. And they also send you a discount code that you can scratch and sniff, or scratch and sniff. You can scratch for the code, so that's kind of fun. And then the best part is you get yarn in this little pouch. And I peeked before I showed you guys, but this is so pretty. This is maybe I'll show it this way. This is called Pass the Sweet Potatoes, and it is amazing. The colors are so pretty. I love this like dark blue and purple here. I'm very happy with my first box. So, the only other thing that I have is while we were out for, oh, I do have one more thing. I'll be back. So I decided that after my last episode, I realized that I've kind of fallen out of love with my cozy memory blanket. Before the podcast, I hadn't touched it for several months, and I haven't touched it since. I've been wanting to participate in the Crazy Sock Ladies Scrappy Sunday, and whenever I go to pick it up, I'm just like, nah, I don't really want to work on that right now. So I decided, instead of a cozy memory blanket, I just cast on, I put details of this on my Ravelry page. I'm not very far because I just started this on like Tuesday. But I did put details on my Ravelry page if you're interested. But I am just doing a little garter stitch blanket. And I'm holding it together with a solid gray for some continuity. And then I'm just going to tie all my minis together and knit them into a big blanket. So hopefully it works out how I'm picturing. It's kind of inspired by the Bits and Bobs blanket that the Crazy Sock Lady shows when she posts for her hashtag Scrappy Sunday. But I couldn't justify paying $7 for a Scrappy project, so I just decided to do this instead. But I have here, I have no idea what this is. I don't even know why I'm showing this. This is the gray that I'm holding. And then this is what's left of the cake I started knitting this with. And this is just a mini skein that I dyed while I was experimenting, and I loved this color. And held with the gray, it kind of looks like the Cheshire Cat from I think it was Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. So here it is again. Not that it's like grown or anything since last time I showed it to you, but and all I did was cast on, it's all kinked up, but all I did was cast on 250 stitches, and I'm working in garter stitch. So that's it. Then I'm just going to work on that until I've used up all my scraps, or it's big enough. So the last thing I have to show, I have 2 more things to show. Okay, I'm still on acquisitions. I got a little crazy in the past couple weeks. But the next thing I have is some sock yarn. Keep the tripod. Some sock yarn that I picked up for my husband. I went in the yarn section while he was waiting in line to get fabric cut for me for the quilt. So this is Shadowy Meadow is the colorway in the Yarn Bee Cozy Toes. I loved these colors together, and he liked them too. So, and we picked up Michael's, or we went to Michael's, because I thought that this was the yarn, that this was the gray for my Scrappy blanket. So I picked up another skein, but looking at them next to each other, it's not even close to the same color. But I'm going to roll with it because these are $2.99 a skein, and they have, let's see, 678 yards, which is a pretty good price for sock yarn in my opinion, and it's really soft. So the loops and threads, this is the Michael's brand, I think, Woolike, and this is just called gray. And then, of course, I can't buy sock yarn without buying something for my husband. He was there and he asked if he could get something for more socks. So how do you say no to that? So he chose these 2 colors, purple and pumpkin spice, and he specifically requested, he's never been so specific with his requests for socks. It's usually just, oh yeah, whatever you knit I will wear and I will love it. So this time he said he wants this color to be the cuffs, heels, and toes, and this color for the rest. So I said, yes sir. And I will cast these on soon. Probably not anytime soon, but soon if he's watching. But that's all. That's really all I have for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for taking some time out to spend with me in my knitting. And hopefully you have a great next couple of weeks. Happy knitting. Bye.